Welcome back to Carry On with Criselda. I am Criselda. As always, I am so grateful that you have stopped by to join us today. Be sure to stay till the end for another lighthearted special message. This may be my most challenging topic yet. It is most certainly not the easiest thing to do, and that is the topic of forgiveness. But not to sound like a broken record, we want to better ourselves, right? I would imagine the reason you are here is because you are searching for ways to improve yourself in an effort to become a better version of yourself. You don't just want information, you want transformation. And the way to transformation is through action, not just reading about it or seeing a video about it. Although you can listen to a podcast about it. I'm kidding. You can do any of the above, but just know that we must put the work in, and, well, it's work, and work is sometimes hard. It's like when you exercise. Do you work out? I don't right now, but I have before, and at first, it's not so easy to just get right into it. It takes more effort in the beginning. There's resistance because you are just starting, and it takes time to build up to a level where it's easier. Then you need to rest for maybe a day or two. Then when it's time to exercise again, it's still slow going. You have to build up those muscles little by little. But eventually, the more you exercise consistently, the better you get at it. And even then, it's important to continue that practice lest you go back to the way you were before you began exercising. Same thing if you were to learn a new concept or process or habit. It takes more than one time to get the hang of it. So with practicing forgiveness, how quickly you are able to master this will depend on where you are at in your journey. First, let's go over what forgiveness is and what it isn't. Forgiveness is letting go of a hurt that someone has caused you or someone you love or care about. It is not excusing their behavior. Forgiveness is taking the stance that you will not allow the wrongdoer to control your emotions, your present, or your future. It is not an allowance to be anyone's doormat. Forgiveness is the bridge to peace within yourself. It is not a means to being friends again, if you don't want to. So, where to even begin? Well, this isn't about easy stuff. Someone accidentally bumps into you or steps on your foot. That's easy to forgive, right? What if someone cuts you off in traffic? Or one of my pet peeves, that someone who cut you off flicks you off because you honked at them to warn them that they got too close to you and could have caused an accident. You know what I do in those cases like that to make myself feel better? I actually got it from my mom when I was a little girl. She would say, "Gosh, that person must be in a hurry to pee." I will add, or drop a deuce. By the way, if you haven't guessed by now from my other episodes, aside from talking about serious, important topics on emotions and mindsets, I love funny things and I love to laugh. And I hope you don't mind any attempts I make from time to time to at least put a smile on your face. And now I'm thinking of the Joker. But another huge factor in becoming better people, in my opinion, is to find laughter where we can. I know not everything is funny, but we got to balance it out. Just wanted to get that out of the way. So yeah, that's how I make light of anyone who doesn't play nice on the road. When you're encountering a rogue NPC non-player character on the road, that's a one-off encounter and then you'll really never see them again. So let's make this a little harder. What if someone you really don't know that well was rude to you in person, or you heard secondhand that they spouted some unfair opinions about you without really knowing about who you are? Even worse, what if you were wronged by a friend, someone you thought you could trust? Or what if you were hurt by someone who abandoned you, rejected you? What if you're in a relationship with someone right now who wrongs you in one way or another and never apologizes? Or they do something that they're sorry for, but then keep doing it, but apologizing every time. Well, as with other topics I've covered so far, forgiveness begins with a thought, a decision. It's not easy. It's, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do when you are trying to grow as a person. That's because it involves another person or persons who have brought on these feelings of anguish and anger. If it continues to grow, resentment and bitterness will embed themselves in your heart and will color your perception of other people if gone unchecked. So how do we forgive? Especially when the person doesn't even care or doesn't even realize that they've hurt you. Boy, I've dealt with both of those. When they don't even care, yeah, I've had to sit and process that for a while. Sometimes it takes time. And when it was someone who didn't realize they even did something to offend or hurt me, I've had to tell myself that remaining indignant is unnecessarily wasting my energy, all the while they are going about their business just fine. I have a few quotes that I'd like to share with you on forgiveness, and I'll comment on each one. Some of these are pretty powerful. The first one is by Mahatma Gandhi. I really like saying that name, Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attitude of the strong." It takes a special person, this is now me talking, it takes a special person, a mature person, to know that holding a grudge only weakens you. You cannot expect to live a genuine life if you are walking around with this chip on your shoulder. Where's the freedom in that? Okay, next quote by Oprah Winfrey. She said, "True forgiveness is when you can say, 'Thank you for that experience.' Not as in, 'Oh, thank you for hurting me,' but as in, 'Thank you, God or universe or whatever you believe in, for the challenge and opportunity to grow from this experience and learn that I am a strong person who doesn't allow anyone to control or get in the way of my peace and wholeness, and in that way, I take a step higher to my better self." This next quote is by Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude." Yeah, he had plenty of opportunities to practice forgiveness. As I mentioned earlier, like exercise, it must be practiced. Can you imagine what kind of leader he would have been if he held every grievance against everyone who wronged him? That doesn't make for a powerful or strong person, does it? If you'd like a more poetic quote, these last two should fit the bill. By Mark Twain. "Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it." And lastly, William Shakespeare. "Sweet mercy is nobility's true badge." It is kind of like that, isn't it? A badge of honor. Some things to realize or remember about forgiveness. Who knows why people do what they do sometimes? Or maybe you do know. They have deep-set insecurities or past hurts that they are not even near ready to address, which might explain why they do what they do. The following statement, which I have read in some social media outlets, is a trigger for some people, rightly so. It is this: hurt people, or hurting people, hurt people. I've heard it both ways. Although, yes, I would say I don't think any person in their balanced mind would hurt someone else or say something hurtful when they are feeling happy or joyful or any positive feeling. They would do it, though, if they themselves are not happy with themselves or their life, or they are insecure and putting someone else down is what they know to give themselves instant gratification and feeling better about themselves as a result of them not being able to control their life or circumstances. Or they are depressed. Dig deep enough and you will find that there is something there. That doesn't make what they've done any better, but it will give you a starting point in understanding that they just may not have that inner strength that you yourself are working toward. They haven't grown in that area. They may not want to, or if they do, it will come later than you'd like, which is one of the reasons why forgiveness is not for them. It's for you and me. You don't need to wait for them to apologize. Heck, you don't even need to let them know you forgive them. It's for you and about your inner self. It's not to show them, okay, we're good now. And guess what? If it's better to keep your distance from that person, especially if they repeat grievances against you, you can do that and still forgive them. You are not a doormat. You can also speak up for yourself if you see fit, definitely, in a civil manner, of course, because you don't want to stoop to the level that they are at. You forgive them for their inadequacy and maintain your dignity. And look, full disclosure, I take each person case by case because each circumstance is different. Sometimes the person is just a jerk and they're not the type of person to reflect on themselves and change. And in those cases, if I am able to, I will disconnect myself from that person, get away, and just breathe. Then I will work on myself to get to that point of forgiving them. Again, not for them, but for me. I get laser focused on the fact that I do not want them to get in the way of me and my peace. And I hope that you too will get laser focused and just become so adamant in wanting to get yourself back in a neutral, peaceful state. And just because you say to yourself you forgive them doesn't mean the hurt goes away instantly. It still takes time. But choosing to forgive does begin the process of healing your heart. The other case that I've experienced is that the person was in a position where they truly were hurting and did not have a handle on their life, and it was not their fault. And yes, although getting hurt by this person did anger me at times, I had to let it go because it was doing a disservice to me. Holding a hurt takes a lot out of a person. It's too much bad energy to exert. I made the decision to let it go and be more compassionate about where they were coming from. I decided to show them that compassion too. As I said, it's a case-by-case basis. And by the way, it doesn't mean that you have to get to that point overnight. It is a process. It is practice. It's like peeling an onion little by little. Like my past episode, Your Big Why, the same thing can be applied here. You are looking to the why of forgiveness. That's what I would do here. The goal is forgiveness, but why? I am so bothered by the feeling of when someone hurts me or wrongs me that I put my focus on my desire, which is to have peace. And the way to get to that point is to forgive. I also think of the times that someone has forgiven me for a past wrong I've done. I remember the mercy that I've been shown. That sometimes helps me too to get to that point of mercy toward others. One other thing I'd like to mention, please make sure that you are forgiving yourself as well. Mostly this was about forgiving someone else, but don't forget about yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up about anything. Don't shame yourself or guilt yourself. Just wanted to pass that quick reminder for you to love yourself. You are the only person you will live with for your entire life. And for anyone who has never apologized to you, for what it's worth, I am sorry for any hurt someone has caused you or a pain that someone put you through. Just know that you are not defined by it. You are strengthened by it. I do hope these thoughts are helpful to you. I really want to inspire and encourage you. I've been in this boat many times, both as the recipient and contributor of wrongdoing. And as the recipient, I've dealt with the process, the onion peeling process of getting over the offense or pain by forgiving someone and experiencing the freedom and peace that dwells in place of the heartache. And I want that for you too. Until next time, carry on. "911, what is your emergency?" Yes, I need people to follow this podcast. It's called Carry On with Criselda. Wait, this is 911. What is the emergency? Yes, I need more people to follow this podcast. It's called Carry On with Criselda. Okay, how is that an emergency? Because they need to hurry up and follow and share with others so they can follow. Ma'am, this is for emergencies only. Do you need me to dispatch police, fire, or EMS? Yes. Well, which one? All of them. Send all of them. If they come, will they follow this podcast? Ma'am, I cannot send anyone over unless someone is hurt. Are you injured or hurt? Yes. What is hurt? The ratings. The ratings hurt when people don't follow. Ma'am, I mean physically. Are you physically injured or hurt? Yes. Okay, what is hurt? My heart? My heart hurts when people don't follow, comment, or share. How? Okay, ma'am, you don't need 911. You need a psychiatrist. Okay, will they follow this podcast? I give up. Will you follow this podcast? You can find it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please?